Yo people, it's Jeff here. Alright, so have another subscriber question. Today they asked to explain what is the power of words. So I'm gonna delve into that a little bit. Looking at it from two angles. One, the power of words from yourself, and two, the power of words externally from other people. So self-talk. We can start with self-talk first because I believe that's the most important aspect. Um, Self-talk is basically just like that little voice running in your head that controls pretty much 99% of everything you do with, with and without you thinking about it, which is why it's so important because it governs your behavior and it controls a lot of the actions that you take. Um, if you break it down even further using scientific terms, this is what people mean when they're talking about the conscious and the subconscious. So the conscious being the part of the mind where you have full control and awareness of, like your immediate thoughts, that you can control what is going on in your mind. But the subconscious part, you have less control over it, but it still does play a very big part in pretty much every aspect of your life. So having some influence on the subconscious is going to be very beneficial for you if you want to manipulate certain outcomes. So when you're talking about self-talk, the most important aspect is having control over your mind. So you control the words that run through your mind, you control what you say to yourself. And this could be influenced by a variety of factors. One of the biggest factors would be your upbringing and your early life experiences. So if your early life experiences were mostly positive, you had a good support system, then your self-talk is mostly going to be positive. Well, supposedly, is mostly going to be positive. If you had a hard childhood, if you experienced bullying, if you didn't have a support system that you would expect at that age, then your early childhood development would be impacted by that. And therefore, the way or the things that you say to yourself will also be impacted by that as well. So if number two is the case, scenario number two, and it has impacted your confidence and your self-belief, then the best way to get through that would be self-development. Looking at where your own weaknesses are, where your own pitfalls lie, and actively doing the work to improve yourself. That's the best way to go about it. I had to do it. It's very difficult to do, to face certain situations, but if you really want to get the most out of life, you're gonna have to start with yourself first. So self-talk, controlling your mind, controlling the words that you say to yourself. Yes, affirmations is something you can do, but I would really suggest getting to the root of the problem. Journaling is one recommendation I could do, so you could actually get your thoughts out on paper so that you could work through them. No, I'm not a psychologist, I'm just telling you some of the things I did, some of the information I came across, and what worked for me. I would also suggest, if you can also talk to somebody that will help you be able to sort through some of your thoughts. So that's self-talk. Number two, which is what I believe the person was really getting at, talk from others. How do you handle the power of words that are coming from somebody else? And the first thing I should really say is you shouldn't really be letting the opinions and the words of others influence you that much to begin with. No, I'm not only talking about negative words, but also positive words. You can accept positivity and compliments coming from other people, but you should not, your emotions and your self-belief and your confidence should not hinge on the words of other people. You should seek to gain that level of validation and confidence internally, because the same way someone else can compliment you and control your emotions, on the flip side, if someone says something negative to you, it can also impact you in a more serious way. So you have to learn to not take things personally, and not in the way that people say, like not taking personally as in take offense, but not have an attachment to the words that come from other people. Um, and when you get to that point where you're able to do that, it will change your entire way of life. Not taking things personally. So when somebody tells you something positive, you appreciate it, you accept it, you internalize it, yes, fine, but it does not move you off of your center. It doesn't inflate your head. It doesn't get to your ego. And then similarly, when somebody tries to say something negative to you, you can be objective about it. If there is something positive you can take from it, like if it's a criticism, which I'm gonna differentiate, then you can use that information. If it's just negative talk, like somebody is trying to get at you and impact you in a negative way, then it will have no bearing on your mood, on your emotions, or on your self-perception. Two books that I would recommend to this particular person that gave this question would be The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That is by Mark Manson. And the second one is The Four Agreements. I can't remember who wrote The Four Agreements, but there's a chapter in there speaking specifically about not taking things personally. I read that book a few years ago now, maybe like 7 years ago, and that when I saw that really put a light bulb off of me. It really put things in a different perspective for me. So even if you could find that book and read that specific chapter about not taking things personally, I believe that would give you some valuable information. Right, so that's just my short response for today. I hope you found this information helpful. If you want more information on the books, then you could find them on Amazon. You could download the Kindle version, and that would be an easy resource for you to go back on. The Four Agreements actually has some other information which was very useful. I cannot remember the other chapters, but that chapter I never forgot. Alright, so that's it for today. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later.